Alright, so in this tutorial here, I'm going to demonstrate to you how do we use a pipette. A pipette here is this short glass tube here. Right now in front of me here, I am holding a 10 milliliter pipette. There is one line here on the pipette that when the solution here is exactly at this line, it's been calibrated to 2 decimal places. So for a 10 milliliter pipette, the solution would be read 10.00. Sometimes the glassware itself would actually quote what the error on the manufacturing device is here. And right now here, if you can see it well enough here, this one here says 0.04 plus or minus, right? So for a pipette here, you can think of it like a straw. In fact, chemists in the olden days here used to use their mouth to actually pipette. As you can tell, that wasn't a very safe decision. Nowadays, what we have is we have a suction bulb to actually simulate that suction that we would need. So you do want to make sure you find a bulb here that matches the size of your pipette here. We're going to just roughly make a little bit of a seal. You don't want to jam it too tightly because you're going to see very quickly later on I do need to pull it off and then put my finger on top of it as quickly as I can to hold that seal. As I'm ready here, I'm going to give the bulb a squeeze first, give it that negative pressure, form that little bit of a seal here, form that little bit of suction. I'm going to hold the open end here open through a beaker. This is just food color water so you can see a little bit better. As I steadily let go my right hand here, you'll see that that negative pressure actually sucks up the solution into the pipette. Again, what I'm doing here is I'm going to look for this to actually go past the line first. I want it to get exactly 10.00, but sometimes when I actually pull off the bulb here and actually put my finger on top of it, I might lose a little bit of liquid. So again, here's the line. Right now my liquid line is a little bit higher than it, which is good. What I'm going to do as quickly as I can, I'm going to pull off the bulb, and with my other hand, I'm going to seal it with my finger. So put that there. As long as your finger is over top, that's going to form that air pressure that you need to keep the solution up here. Obviously, we do want to start wiggling our finger so that this line here will fall down to that 10.00 calibrated mark. How you can do this here, you can actually hold it out of the solution at this point here. You're going to, as you wiggle your finger here, if you use your other hand here, you can actually start twisting the pipette. Sometimes that extra adhesion would actually help this solution to actually drop down a little bit, not as quickly, and that way we can have a better aim for that line there. So here I go, I'm just going to wiggle that thumb back and forth. When I'm confident that I'm at the line, bottom of the meniscus here, I'm just going to seal it tight. And there we go, we have exactly calibrated for 10.00. I just have a test tube here, I'm just going to let go. So we've used the pipette here first to soak up solution here. I've calibrated it for exactly 10 milliliters, and I'm now pouring this into my test tube. These samples that I pull out of my stock solution can be called aliquots, that's the fancy name for it. You'll notice even towards the end, as the solution is dropping out, there is a little bit of solution left over. That's fine, that's been calibrated for. You don't need to force that solution out. Okay. So let me just demonstrate this for you once more here. So you take your bulb, make sure this open end here stays below the solution at all times. I'll show you what happens if we don't. So give the bulb a squeeze first. Let's say I form that tight seal here. The solution is steadily coming up as I would want to, but then let's say you're distracted and you start pulling it out of the solution. What's going to end up happening is you're actually going to start sucking in air, and you now notice that it's not fully solution on the bottom there. At that point there, I would just let go of the suction bulb here. I can just restart. Okay. You want to make sure that, again, the open end of the pipette here stays below the solution at all times. So let me just demonstrate this for you here. So I just soak that solution. Again, what we want to do is we want to go past that mark there, and then as quickly as you can, put your finger to form that seal that we need. Okay. So again, I'm a little bit over, which is good. I'm going to wiggle my thumb on the top here, and then we're going to wait till this line here is exactly at that 10.00 mark. Again, there's my second aliquot here. I'm going to fill in my second test tube. So there we go. Pipettes generally come in increments. They can transfer 10 milliliters at a time. I'm going to show you the last one here using a 25 milliliter pipette. Unfortunately, 25 milliliters is a much bigger volume. So what you're going to need to do is you actually need to use the suction bulb here twice. So what you can do here, so with our 25 milliliter pipette here, you'll notice the bulb is quite a bit bigger. Again, there is a one line that calibrates for 25.00. Again, you're going to hold the open end here underneath. You're going to do the suction bulb. You're going to find even after you soak up the first solution, the bulb here is almost completely released, but I haven't fully sucked up 25 milliliters yet. What you can do is you can actually put your finger on top, form a tight seal right now, give the bulb here that squeeze here again, and as you have that seal again here, gradually let it go until we're actually up to that mark again. Again, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go beyond that mark here. We can quickly take off the bulb here, put it on your finger, and again, you're just going to wiggle your finger until it's back to that mark there. When you're confident that it's at that mark, again, you can just let it go. This aliquot here will be a little bit more volume than the other ones here, but that's how we deal with the 25 milliliter pipette. I'm just going to demonstrate for you one other thing here. I'm not sure this test tube, oh, just filled 25, perfect, okay. Sometimes people have trouble with these suction bulbs here. So what we have is we can actually use these sort of engineered suction here. What you can do, let's go back to my 10 milliliter pipette here. I'm going to form the seal here. This time for this green device here, it's actually nice. You don't have to pull it off. So what's going to happen here is you just have it in the sort of starting position here. Keep the open end underneath the beaker at all times. And this time what you're going to do is you're actually going to dial this wheel. As you dial this wheel here, that's going to provide the suction. That's actually going to pull the solution up. If you go too far here, you can actually just dial the wheel backwards. When you're done with the sucking up the 10 milliliters, you just press this button and that's going to dispense the 10 milliliters. So I know this is slightly off screen here, so I'm just going to hold that open end here underneath the solution. I'm dialing the wheel here. You're seeing that the solution is coming upwards, okay? Again, what's nice about this wheel here is, let's say I go over, right? So I'm beyond the line that I want. I'm actually just going to dial the wheel the other way, and that's actually going to have a controlled release. Once I'm confident that, again, it's at the mark, I just press the button on the side. Again, I'll show you that button here. You just press this button here. I'm just going to dispense it back into the first test tube here. By pressing that button, it'll dispense that 10 milliliters that I had measured off, right? So there we go. That's the proper use of a pipette. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks, guys.